QuickBooks Online 2025, the profit and loss report or income statement report, thinking about how to organize them, sort them, print them, save them as a PDF and or create a management report from them. Also taking into account the balance sheet reports that we thought about in a prior course or section. So get ready and some coffee because we're learning how to save time with QuickBooks Online. Here we are online in our browser searching for that QuickBooks Online test drive, the free sample company file available to everybody. Looking for the result that has intuit.com in the URL because Intuit is the owner of QuickBooks. We're going to be choosing the United States version of the software, and then we're going to verify that we're not a robot. I am not a robot for the thousandth and one time. If I told you once, I told you 1,000 times, QuickBooks. I'm not a robot. We're in the sample company file, Craig's Design Landscaping Services, opening up the major financial statement reports like we do every time. The reports, they're on the left-hand side. We're in the standard tab, favorites. Let's right-click on that balance sheet to open a link in a new tab. Right-click on the profit and loss to open a link in a new tab. Then we'll tab to the right, close up the hamburger, do the range change. We're going from 010124 tab 123125 tab, selecting the drop down to see it in years, run it to refresh it, and there we have it. We're going to go tab to the right and then close up the hamburger again, change that range, 010124 tab 123125 tab, select the drop down, see this one in years as well, and run it to refresh it. So we now want to be thinking from the perspective that we're generating reports possibly on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, yearly basis for giving them to a client, which is the most common scenario if we're in a bookkeeping scenario. But we can also think about situations where we're giving them to a supervisor or something. Really doesn't matter. It's similar to turning in homework. We want it to look nice because we know that the person grading the homework grades it somewhat on the content. They're supposed to grade it on the content, but if it looks nice, they usually treat it nicer. You possibly get a better grade. When you're dealing with clients, then you're trying to build confidence. You're trying to build trust. And if you have things that are presented well, it at least looks like you put some effort into it, which could help to build some trust. So we want to package it nicely. Last time, or in the prior section or course, we talked about the balance sheet reports and how we might group them together. We're going to do the same thing here with the income statements, thinking about how we can batch them and group them together, remembering that we have all these different variants now if we think about different time frame comparisons with both the balance sheet and the income statement. So that's the first thing we want to kind of think about, that being, do I want to have like a really simple profit and loss first and then possibly have a comparative profit and loss, which is more complicated, but possibly also duplicates information? Or maybe I eliminate the simple profit and loss and I just add the more complicated one because it already has all the information on the simple one plus more information, and so on and so forth. Do I want to make a comparative report for month to month to month comparison for 12 months or something, as well as a quarter by quarter breakout report, as well then as a comparative report subtracting the two periods, and so on and so forth. So those are some decisions you want to come to, and then think about how you're going to group them together, possibly on a monthly basis, which might differ than on a quarterly basis, then might differ from what's on a yearly basis. Remembering at the beginning of the year, it might be a little bit different because you don't have as much comparative information to compare this quarter to last quarter because you're on the first quarter, for example. So just some things to consider. Once you have a plan down, then you want to be somewhat consistent, and possibly you want to memorize your reports in accordance with when you're going to provide them, making the process of generating them as easy as possible. The ways that we can distribute the reports to clients or supervisors would be, we could email it. We possibly, if we email, do not want to email one report at a time, because now that we combine the balance sheet and income statement reports, that could be like 10 reports. That's too many emails. We can attach all the reports to one email, but 10 attachments is still kind of ugly. So if we're going to email, at least you would think we can export the files as a PDF, zip the files in one folder, attaching at least one folder, possibly going beyond that, numbering the files within the folder so they are in some kind of order of operation or opening them. Or we can try to get them all on one PDF file. And the way we could do that is with the management tool, using their little report, or exporting to Excel, where we can actually do more customization if we wanted to, such as more font sizes, colors, borders, and whatnot, and then possibly use Excel and even combine it with Word to then generate one PDF report that we can then provide. Of course, we also can provide the reports, whether they be done by in a folder one by one, or using Excel, or using the report manager with the cloud drive sharing these days, like a OneDrive from Microsoft or Dropbox or something like that, which is also a nice way to do it. You want to keep in mind, of course, security options as we think about those options. All right, so let's go back to the first tab here, and we're just going to generate our profit and loss reports, and we'll build maybe like 3 profit and loss reports and then practice saving them. This is what I had last time on the balance sheet. So these are the reports that we saved last time. We saved them in an Excel format, as well as numbering them 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. And then we had the reports. So I'm going to continue our numbering with the income statement, which I'm imagining I want to have after the balance sheet reports. So I'm not going to say that this ordering system is perfect. I'm just showing how you might order them using a numbering system. In other words, you might want a simple balance sheet and then a simple income statement, and then have the more complex balance sheets and income statements right after those. Or you might do it this way, where the complex balance sheet and the simple balance sheet, then the complex balance sheets, and then the simple income statement, then the complex income statements, and so on. Just depends. There's a lot of variance here. All right, so let's right click on the profit and loss again and open a link in a new tab. Right click, open a link in a new tab. Boom. And so the first thing we could do, remember with the balance sheet, is we made a summary balance sheet. We don't really have a summary income statement typically report that's different in the same way, but we do have this collapse function. So you will remember that if you use a lot of sub accounts, which is often the case for balance sheets, then you're going to have a very long income statement with these subcategories. So the summarized balance sheet would simply be to collapse them. So if we collapse them, we might really clean up the income statement depending on how much you use your sub accounts. So that might be the first customization, which is similar to a balance sheet report that is a summarized balance sheet. So let's save that one, or let's customize it. So if I'm giving it externally, I'd say maybe this will be the first one I add because it's a little cleaner. I'm going to remove the pennies, negative numbers. I want to be bracketed and negative, and we'll go to the headers and footers, and I'm going to call it an income statement just to change the name. So I'm going to say income statement summary, and then we'll get rid of the date, time, report basis, and then run the report. So there it is, boom. All right, and then this is for, let's change the range. Let's do these ones for, did I do them for 2024 last time? I think I did. Let's do them for 01/01/24 to 12/31/24, and then run it. And then we'll save the customization, and I'm going to save it with a number 4 in front of it. I'm going to put it into a new group. We don't have the groups that we did before because we refreshed the screen. So we're going to call this a month end reports. Add it. And then boom, let's save it. Let's go to the first tab and look at it. We're going to go to the customize reports and run it. Boom. And let's see what we have here. So there it is. So now notice, if I was continuing on from last time, I would have had 1, 2, 3 reports, which are the balance sheet that would be in here. But because I refreshed it, we don't have those. So they would look like this: 1, 2, 3 balance sheet reports. And this would be number 4, so I can order them. All right, let's go to this tab. Let's go ahead and export it. So I'm going to say export it as a PDF file. and we'll look at the Excel exporting in a future presentation. So that is it. Looks muy B to the end. So let's go ahead and save it. And where it's going to want to put it, where does it want to put it? I'm going to copy the location. That's where we want it to go, right there. That's where I want it to go, yo. And I'm going to put a 4 in front of it. Again, income statement 4. We'll save it there. Let's see if it goes there. Boom. So now we have report number 4. There it is. Let's open it up just to check it out. Open it up and check it out. So there it is. Very nice. All right, closing that back up. And then the next one, let's open up another one. Reports on the left. Standard, let's just open up another profit and loss report. Right click, open the report. Now, another common report would be the vertical analysis. So now the question here would be, well, do I want to now have like a standard profit and loss report? Or maybe I skip the standard and I add the vertical analysis, since that's just one more column of data. So for example, then I could say, let's go from 0101 to 4 to 1231 to 4. And then I'm going to see it in totals only, run it. Now I'm going to add a vertical analysis on it. Should I add the vertical analysis as I have the longer report maybe? Or maybe I could collapse it and do the vertical analysis. These are decisions you're going to have to make, right? So I'll just do one on the expanded report here. Selecting the drop down. I want percentage of income, not percentage of the column. I want to compare everything to the income line. Run it. So now we have the total income as the baseline. Notice if I collapsed it, it would be a lot cleaner looking. But I already have a collapsed, simplified one. So I'm going to make it uncollapsed, expand them, and add the extra column. So this is adding more information, but it's also getting a lot more because now we have the percentages. So you could add 2 reports, right? And so let's go ahead and customize that one. Customize. Let's get rid of the pennies. Let's go to the negative numbers bracketed and red, headers and footers. We're going to get rid of the date, time, report basis. And I'm going to say this is going to be an income statement, and this will be vertical analysis. Vertical, I got it spelled wrong. Vertical analysis. Let's run it. All right, so there we have it. Let's save that one. Save that one. Customization. Save customization, putting it into our month reports, calling this number 2. We'll save it. Go into the first tab, and then let's go to the custom reports and refresh it to check it out. See if it does what we think it should. There's, I called it number 2. I should have called it number 4. What if I edit this one? I should have called it number 5. Let's call it here, report name, change to 5, save and close. Okay. So now it's report number 5. All right. Let's go to the tab over here. Let's save that one or save it as a PDF. PDF print. I should have saved it. I could do it this way. And then we're going to call it report number 5 to put it in order. Boom. So now we have it over here. Report numero 5. All right, let's close it back up. And so there's that one. And now let's do another one, possibly a horizontal analysis. So then I can go to the tab to the left and go to the reports, standard, open another profit and loss. Now, if it's the end of the year, I might want a report that covers multiple periods, since this is my performance report. So I might want a report that's going from maybe the 4 quarters or 12 months, possibly quarterly if it was the end of the year though. So that would be like, I go from 01/01/24 to 12/31/24, and I want to see it in quarters and then run it. So now we've got the 4 quarters. There's no data in the first 2 because the system only is putting data in the end of the year. But that might be a common report, but at the end of the year, this would be something different than a report that's broken out with 2 periods, which I can subtract them. So let's do this report. Let's customize it, and I'm going to call it negative numbers, pennies, show negative numbers, red, headers and footers. We want no date, time, report basis. And I'm going to say income statement by quarter. I'll say QTR, let's just say, and I'll save it, and then save customization. And this is going to be, what was I on now? I forgot what number I was on, dang it. Let's check it out over here. Number 6. Number 6, save customization. Number 6. Boom. Let's save that one. Okay. And so let's do another one, which is like a horizontal analysis possibly, or I can compare to the prior year. So if I went back on over here, I refresh it on the custom reports, there is number 6, standard. Let's open another profit and loss, right click, open another one. I'm going to pull it all the way to the right. Wait, I should print this one too. Did I print it? I don't think I did. Let's print it too. Export as a PDF. Save as a PDF, and this is going to be number 6 report. All right, boom. Save it. Okay, we'll close this out. That's done. So now I can go over here and say, let's close the ham boogie. Now, you could make a comparison to the prior year similarly. So maybe I want to compare the last quarter, or maybe just the 1 month to the last year's last month. So if we do 2024, there's no data in the prior period, but it'll be 0101. Let's do it from 10 1 24 to whoops, que paso 1001 24 to 1231 24, and then I compare it to the prior year, and I could do a percent and a dollar change. So I can do that. So now I'm comparing it to the prior year for the last quarter. And you can see how messy this gets, because now I could compare it to the prior year for for 1 month, or for half the year, or something like that. So it depends how many comparisons we want from year over year. But let's do the current year this time, and let's say that we want to compare December maybe to the prior month of November, let's say. So we're going to say if there's data in it. Let's see if there's data in it. We're going to go from 12/01/24 to 12/31/24, and then we want to compare it to the previous period in the current year, which will be November, and we want the dollar sign and the percent change. So there we have it. So now we've got December versus November, the change. All right, this is what we'll call a horizontal analysis report, let's say. So let's say we want to customize this one. No pennies, dollar, negative numbers, red. And we're going to say this is going to be no date, time, report basis. I'm going to say income statement. And this is going to be horizontal analysis by month. For the month. Horizontal instead of the quarter, for example. All right. Maybe it would be current month even, but I'll save that. Boom. So there it is. And now let's save customization. So this is going to be what am I on? Number 7. Save customization. Number 7. And then we'll add it to the group. Save it. We'll print it out. Something went wrong. We'll fix it. QuickBooks. Get on it. We don't accept it. I don't accept excuses around here. This is going to be number 7 report. We'll save that. And then we're going to go back on over to the reports. Let's refresh it. And so there we have it. So now we have all these income statement reports. And like we say, we can imagine more, 4, 5. So there they are. Now, Now we also have them over here. So once we have them over here, then what could we do with these reports? Well, we could attach them to an email. We could give access to the cloud drive, noticing that now they're in order. These are the old balance sheet reports we did in a prior course or section, and the income statement reports. So whether we attach them or give access to the cloud drive, they're at least in some kind of order that's not just simply alphabetical. Or if I go to the prior tab, I'm going to delete this zipped reports. I could zip them, right click and zip, which is compress the report. This will allow me to attach it to an email with just one attachment instead of multiple attachments if I want to do it that way. So we can do that as well. Or we can try to get them on one PDF file, which might look a little bit more professional. And we can do that two ways. One, we can export them to Excel, which we'll do in a future presentation, continuing on with that experiment. Or two, and then use the cute PDF printer to put them all on one PDF file. Or two, we can use the management report, which has less customization, but is pretty quick way to get these reports in there. So you will recall, if I go to the management reports, usually we're going to use like the company overview, and I'll just basically copy that. I'll duplicate it. We did this with the balance sheet. I'm just going to show you once again if we added the income statement reports in here. Then of course we could just go ahead and edit this thing. I'm going to edit it, and we've got the title page. We can mess with the title page as we saw before, the cover, the subtitle, and so on and so forth. Then we have the table of contents, which is defaulting to just a standard profit and loss or balance sheet. I'm going to go to the next page. Make sure you don't close it as you're looking at these. We then have another page that we can type in if we want to, that we looked at last time. And then we have our reports. Now, again, we could just add the new reports that we have in here by adding our report, selecting the drop down. And I want to go not to any of these standard reports, but I see on the right that I have the custom reports, and I have report number 4. Now, of course, I would be putting the balance sheet reports in first, which would be 1 through 3 that we can't see at this point because we refreshed the screen. But the idea would, of course, be we would order the reports in order as we save them or memorize them, and just change the date. So we can add another one, report, and this one's going to be number 5, and then add another one and say this one's going to be number 6, and then add another one, and this one's going to be number 7. And so then I can delete these ones. They're no longer needed. You are not needed. Therefore, you will be deleted. All right, it doesn't have to be all sinister like that. It's just a report, for crying out loud. Let's close this up. And then I'm going to change the name so it's not showing that. And then there's that. All right, we'll go into this one. Same thing. I don't want this name to show there in my table of contents. So I'm just going to delete that. And then the date range is good. Same here. Same here, man. Same here. That's what I'm talking about. And then we'll save that. And then this one, we'll do it to that one. Save that. And easy as that. And so then on the next page, we've got the end notes where we can type some more. And now you can see the table of contents has been updated for our new reports in there. And we can check it out. We can say, where's my preview? Preview it. Let's see what it looks like, dude. So now you have some limited options on the title page, but it looks a little more professional. You got the table of contents, which looks cool. And then you've got the income statement, which is formatted a little bit different than if we had them over here. You might like it better. You might like it not better, meaning worse. You might like it worse, or you might like it better. See, here's what it looks like over here versus in here. So they format it different, but you're still stuck with the formatting. I can't do much to it from there. Whereas if I export it to Excel, then we have the same option of being able to put it on one PDF file, possibly also adding a cover page and a title, an intro, and so on, either in Excel or combining Excel with Word. And then again, you can add a little bit more, a lot more. You can get silly with customization over there. But the more silly you get, then the more complex it'll be from month to month, because you're going to have to do that same customization after the export. You can't really save the customization in Excel. Those are the trade-offs. Those are the pros and cons. Those are the things you've got to consider, to ponder, to decide how you want to be dealing with your customer. Remember, and the objective is to build confidence with the client. So obviously we're all completely honest in the first place, right? Because that's kind of a fundamental characteristic that you need in order to build honesty. You have to actually, be honest. But beyond, that's not enough, is the thing. It's not enough just to actually be honest. You also have to display things like you put some effort into it, and that also is going to convey the honesty, the sincerity, so that they feel comfortable and that you're going to be here at least, hopefully, at the end of the year, so that when tax time rolls around and everything's on the line.